Word is the fundamental building block of language, combining thought from sounds or spelling and meaning. Words can stand alone and convey a complete idea, unlike smaller parts like prefix or suffix that only function when attached to a word. Words form the foundation for construction, phrases, clauses, and sentence. For example, in the cat sleeps, each word contributes a distinct meaning to the whole structure. And a word type refers to unique word from in the language, while a word second refers to each occurrence of the word in a text or speech. For instance, in the sentence, the cat chased the cat. These are two tokens of the word cat, but only one type. Linguists use these distinctions to count vocabulary size and frequency in language analysis. And some words have meaning that are predictable from their parts. For example, unhappiness. And have meaning not. And happy, of course, is happy, but happiness instead of being unhappiness is being not happy. Each morpheme contributes meaning that combines logically. These words are often called transparent or semantically compositional because their meaning can be easily decoded from the structure. And predictable meaning occurs frequently in nearly formed or clearly structured words. And what have unpredictable meaning? Like forms have unpredictable meaning that cannot be inferred from their parts. For example, but butterfly is not related to butter or fly in meaning, and honeymoon has nothing to do with honey or the moon literally. These are examples of lexicalist expression, where the meaning of the whole cannot be predicted from the meaning of its parts. They must be learned as single vocabulary items. And a word is a grammatical unit that can stand alone, where lexicalism refers to any unit of meaning listed in the mental lexicon, including idioms and multi-words expression. For example, kick the bucket, meaning to die, or under the coat, meaning is sick, is one lexical item even though it consists of three words. Therefore, not all lexical items are single words. This distinction shows that vocabulary is our mind is organized by meaning, not just by individual words. This section explains how complex words can be broken into smaller, meaningful parts called morphemes. For example, unhappiness can be divided into on the negative, happy is being rude, and nest instead of being. The goal of morphology is to identify the small, meaningful units. However, not all parts are easy to spot. Some words look simple but contain hidden historical morphemes. Therefore, analyzing words requires attention to both forms, how they look or sound, and function, what they mean. And morphemes have a kind. So, morphemes have bound and free. Morphemes are classified into free and bound morphemes. Free morphemes can stand alone as words like book and run, but bound morphemes must attach to another forms to function, like as, on, and ed. Bound morphemes are often affixes that either change meaning, derivational, or sub-grammatical inflectional. For example, hop being hopeful is derivation, cat being cats is inflection. This distinction shows how English built new meanings while maintaining grammatical relationship. And kind of morpheme is have a root, affix, and combining forms. So, morpheme can also be categorized by their function within a word. Root is the mind meaning, bearing, part, like happy, teach, and affix is attached elements that modify meaning, and next, year, and combining forms is words elements, often from Greek or Latin, that appear only in compounds like bio in biology and tele and telephones. Roots are central. Affixes depend on roots, and combining forms act like semi-independent morpheme used in technical or scientific terms. And morphemes have a single morphemes. Like single morpheme can appear in different phonological forms called allomorph. Their variation do not change meaning but depend on phonological context. Plural is has, like cats and dogs and horse. Past tense is it. Walk, it sounds t, and play, it. T and wanted is it. Some allomorph are phonologically conditioned, while others are lexically conditioned, like knife being knives and leaf being leaves. Allomorphs show how morphology interacts with phonology and lexical rules. And how we identify morphemes involves both meaning and structure. Linguists look for consistent correspondences between forms and meaning across different words. However, not all morphemes have transparent meaning. For example, in rewrite clearly means again, but in returns or revise it does not. Some morphemes survives only a historical elements with no clear modern meaning. Thus, identifying morphemes requesting both semantic and formal evidence. So, this chapter claims that morphemes are the small grammatical and meaningful unit of language. They can be free or bound, roots or affixes, and may show variation as allomorph. The study of morphemes helps us understand how English builds and modifies words. It also demonstrates the close relationship between phonology, morphology, and meaning. So, in this section, distinguish between three important terms: lexeme, word form, and grammatical word. A lexeme is the basic vocabulary items, such as run, and a word form is a specific inflected version of the lexeme, such as runs, and running. And a grammatical word refers to a word in a specific grammatical context. For instance, run and runs are different. It's a different words from of the same lexeme run, but they function as distinct grammatical words in sentence. Distinctions is crucial for understanding how words behave in syntax while remaining part of the same vocabulary entry. And we have irregular and regular inflection. So English distinction between regular and irregular inflection. Regular inflection follows predictable rules, such as adding s for plurals, cat to be cats, or ed for past tense, walk being walked. Irregular inflection does not follow this rule, as in go being went, man being man, and mouse being mice. Irregular forms are often inherited from earlier stage of English, Old English or Germanic roots. Regular inflection is predictive. New verbs or nouns usually follow regular patterns. Distinctions show how path rule paths and historical elements is cast in English morphology. And non in English show two main types of inflection: number and position. So, in a number, singular or plural distinctions like book or books, child or children. And possession is marked with S or apostrophe, like John's book, the teacher's room. And the plural is usually formed by S. Stroke irregular plural exists: man, men, tooth, and tooth. Possessive S attached to the entire noun phrases. The King of England's crown. Not just the noun, they show that English noun morphology is simple but syntactical, flexible, and form of noun of pronoun and determiners. Pronouns show more complex inflection than nouns. They vary for class, number, and person. I, me, my, mine, he, him, his, they, them, their, theirs, and determiners like this, and that, this. And mark number, also mark number but not gender. English pronouns retain like traces of an altered caste system: nominative, accusative, and genitive. Possessive determiners like my, your, and our are related to possessive pronouns mine, yours, and ours, showing how English expresses grammatical relationship at limited inflection. And forms of verbs, verbs inflect to show tense, expect, agreement, and mood. Tense walk, and go, when. Aspect uses auxiliaries, has walk, is walking, and agreement, he walks, they walk. Regular verbs add ed for the past tense, while irregular verbs change internally sings to be songs to be sung. The verb be is the most irregular. Am, is, are, was, were, been. Auxiliary verbs like have, be, do, can, must, will, and carry grammatical meaning rather than lexical meaning. English has fewer inflectional verbs ending than many other languages, relying more on auxiliary verbs. And forms have adjective. Forms of adjective show inflection mainly for degree of comparison. The positive like big and beautiful, and comparative like bigger and more beautiful, and superlative is biggest and most beautiful. So short adjective use er and est, while longer ones use more or most. A few are irregular: good being better, past, and bad being worse and worse. Unlike many other languages, English adjectives do not change for gender, caste, or number, making them morphological simple.